Her eyes burned like wildfire across the dusty room. "You'll regret this," she said, voice trembling but proud. "I won't obey." The rancher didn't flinch. He just placed $2 silver on the table and said quietly, "I'm not asking you to obey, I'm asking you to eat. If you love powerful Wild West stories filled with emotion, courage, and redemption, hit like and subscribe, because this one will remind you what mercy truly costs." The town of Red Rock lay heavy under the noonday sun. Dust rolled through the streets like ghosts, and folks were too busy surviving to look kindness in the eye. Inside the dry old trading post, the air smelled of leather, sweat, and tobacco. That's where I saw her for the first time, standing barefoot, face streaked with dirt, a threadbare shawl draped around her shoulders. Her eyes were fierce, but her hands trembled as she held a sack of cornmeal she couldn't afford. The storekeeper, a hard man named Jenkins, sneered. "No credit for her kind," he said, slamming the counter. "You've got $2 or you've got nothing." The girl's jaw tightened. "Then I'll starve," she said, clutching the sack to her chest. I watched her turn to leave, pride holding her up even as her legs shook. Something in her stopped me cold. Maybe it was the way she refused to beg. I reached into my pocket, drew out 2 silver coins, and dropped them on the counter. "Paid," I said. Jenkins scowled but didn't argue. The girl spun around, eyes flashing. "I didn't ask you," she said. "You'll regret this. I won't obey you." I met her glare with calm. "I'm not looking for obedience, miss, just doing what's right." She blinked, uncertain for a moment, then clutched the food tighter and walked out, the door swinging behind her. I thought that was the end of it. But the West had a way of crossing trails twice when you least expected it. 2 days later, I was fixing fence posts along the southern pasture when I saw movement by the ridge. She was there again, the same girl standing with a basket watching the cattle. "You followed me?" I called out. "No," she said flatly. "I came to repay you." She placed a bundle on the fence post, dried herbs, wild berries, and a small leather pouch, medicine worth more than $2. I stepped closer. "You don't owe me anything." Her chin lifted stubbornly. "In my tribe, debt is a chain. I don't wear chains, I respected that. Then we'll call it even," I said. But she didn't move. "You help me." "Why?" "Because no one else would," I said simply. For a long moment she stared at me like she was trying to read something behind my eyes. Then she nodded, turned, and disappeared into the hills. That night, as I sat by the fire, I couldn't shake her from my mind. The strength, the pride, the hurt. The West was full of broken people. But this girl wasn't broken. She was holding her world together with sheer will. A week later, I saw smoke rising from the ridge. Thick, black, angry smoke. I rode hard, fearing the worst. When I reached the old encampment, flames licked the sky. The girl lay near the stream, coughing, her face streaked with ash. They burned it. She whispered. White men drunk said, "We don't belong here." I pulled her up, covered her with my coat, and said quietly, "You belong somewhere." I brought her back to my ranch, a place that hadn't seen another soul in years. She wouldn't look at me at first, wouldn't speak. She sat by the fire, arms wrapped tight around herself, like she was trying to hold her heart from falling apart. "You can stay here until you're ready to move on," I said. "I don't take charity," she muttered. "Then call it fair trade," I replied. "Help around the ranch. Feed the horses' men what you can." Slowly she agreed. Days turned into weeks. She worked hard, stronger than most men I'd hired before. She spoke little, but when she did, her voice carried the cadence of river songs and whined through the canyons. I learned her name, Taya, meaning wind that returns. She told me of her people, of the land they once roamed, freely before fences cut through it. I listened, and for the first time in years, the ranch didn't feel empty. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, she stopped beside me at the corral. "You shouldn't have helped me," she said softly. "I bring trouble," I looked at her, seeing both pain and pride. "Maybe," I said, "but I've lived alone with my own kind of trouble long enough." She smiled faintly then, the first real smile I'd seen, and I knew helping her wasn't charity, it was purpose. Spring came early that year. The air softened, wild flowers rose through the dry earth, and the ranch came alive again. Taya had a way of making silence feel like peace. She sang when she worked low melodic tunes that drifted through the barns and fields. One morning I found her standing at the edge of the pasture, watching the sunrise paint the valley gold. "You planning to move on soon?" I asked quietly. She looked out at the horizon for a long while. "I don't know," she said. "I thought I wanted to keep running, but I'm tired of running." I nodded. "Then don't." She turned to face me. "You're different from them," she said. "From the men who think a coin can buy a woman's soul." I smiled faintly. "I only buy feed and fence posts." Her laugh was soft like rain-breaking drought. As days passed, we rebuilt the burned land together. I gave her a piece of the ranch to tend herself, a patch near the creek. She planted herbs, corn, and wild flowers for healing, she said. Then one evening, as the sun set, she placed 2 silver coins on the table, the same ones I'd given her that first day. "I said you'd regret this," she whispered. "But you didn't, and neither do I." I pushed the coins back toward her. "Keep them. Let him remind you that kindness ain't weakness." She nodded slowly, tears glinting in the firelight. For a moment, the world outside disappeared. The fences, the storms, the endless miles of empty land, and all that remained was a small cabin, 2 souls who'd stopped running, and the quiet truth that mercy, once given, changes everything. If this story touched your heart, hit like and subscribe, because even in the hardest corners of the West, compassion still finds a way home.